Ladies, I need your input here. Hello, my fam, we're back. It is Perez, the queen of all media, the original influencer, and your number one source for everything It Ends With Us saga. Just a few moments ago, self-proclaimed women's advocate, a voice for females, Blake Lively, submitted a letter to the judge filed by two female lawyers, Alexis Roniker and Rebecca Peterson Fisher. They are representing the equal rights advocates, the California Employment Lawyers Association, and the California Women's Law Center. They are submitting to the court a very public defense of accused racist Blake Lively. These three organizations, the Equal Rights Advocates, the California Employment Lawyers Association, and the California Women's Law Center, helped to pass into law California Assembly Bill 933. It is enacted, and now it is California Civil Code 47.1, which is supposed to help combat the onslaught of retaliatory defamation suits filed against victims of sexual assault and harassment who speak out about their abuse. And this is pretty noteworthy because Judge Lyman, in assessing this new California law, would be the first court to interpret the new statute. These three organizations feel that their involvement in this lawsuit is very important because, quote, consistent with their work to champion the passage of AB 933 and the rights of California workers, including victims of sexual harassment and assault, they are invested in the interpretation and enforcement of California Civil Code 47.1. Pause. At no point was their employment in California. This trial is taking place in New York City, where most of the filming in It Ends With Us took place, as well as some of the suburbs, the outliers. But hey, Team Delulu is taking whatever it can get. And boy, do they have a lot to say. One of Time Magazine's top 100 influential people of 2025, Blake Lively is anything but an average person. But her experience of being sued for defamation after speaking out about sexual harassment is all too common. Did Ryan Reynolds write this too? Hundreds of retaliatory defamation suits have been filed against sexual harassment and assault victims for publicly disclosing their abuse in recent years. Pause. Even if we take out the defamation claim, Justin Baldoni and the Wayfarer parties are also suing for many, many other claims. Extortion, interference in the contracts, etc., etc. Naughty. These three organizations, though, tell the judge, quote, this action, the It Ends With Us saga, is the first test of AB 933, and survivors are watching. Obviously, this was all done in collaboration. The three organizations were working with Lively and Reynolds' lawyer. This did not catch them by surprise. And the three organizations argue if the law does not protect a powerful and resourced person such as Ms. Lively, then survivors without power or resources, the vast majority, will not risk speaking out about sexual assault or harassment at all. The Me Too movement taught us the result of that silence: systemic and unchecked abuse at great personal and societal cost. Honestly, I am a little bit surprised that she was able to find organizations to stick their neck out for her when so far all of the proof, receipts, timeline seem to show that Justin Baldoni was the real victim of abuse in all of this. They then go on to lay out why this is so important, how it could be financially debilitating for victims to fight back. Lawsuits are expensive. The lawyers are the real winners here. And here's where we get into the whole nitty-gritty. These three organizations are advocating for the plantation princess to be dismissed from the lawsuit. The lawsuit that was in response to her lawsuit. Meaning none of this would have happened had she not filed the complaint against him and his fellow Wayfarer parties. But these three organizations now argue, quote, denying Miss Lively's motion to dismiss would undermine the AB 933 framework and deter future survivor reports of sexual assault and harassment. Should this court deny Miss Lively's motion to dismiss and permit the Baldoni plaintiff's retaliatory lawsuit against her to proceed, it would undermine this carefully crafted framework, not only for Miss Lively, but also for the thousands of current and future victims in California who depend on AB 933's protections and remedies to defend themselves from similar suits. Miss Lively is a public figure, and this lawsuit has captured the attention of the American public. The outcome of this motion will affect the decision-making of other victims of sexual harassment and assault. The Baldoni plaintiffs have already signaled their intent to follow the abusive discovery playbook by invading Miss Lively's privacy and disrupting her relationships, as frequently happens with other survivors who speak up. Indeed, in a seeming gambit to disrupt her friendship with Taylor Swift, they have subpoenaed the music star, even though Miss Swift has no connection to the workplace harassment and retaliation at issue in this dispute. They must not have gotten the memo that the subpoena against Taylor Swift has been withdrawn. Whether or not these high-visibility abuse tactics work against Miss Lively, they almost certainly will deter survivors from coming forward with allegations of sexual assault and harassment in their own lives. Moreover, the public will recognize that Miss Lively's legal defense, if forced to proceed, will be very expensive. While she is in the privileged position of at least being able to afford a legal defense, low and moderate income survivors are not. Even if the Baldoni plaintiff's suit eventually fails and Miss Lively recovers her fees and costs at the end of this litigation, a ruling in the Baldoni plaintiff's favor will chill other victims from speaking out. The specter of having to endure the invasive and traumatic discovery process while also lacking the resources to pay costs or attorney's fees during litigation is more than enough to force survivors into onerous settlement terms to avoid further litigation or to dissuade them from speaking out about the abuse they suffered. In short, based on the pleadings here, the Baldoni plaintiff's retaliatory defamation lawsuit is the prototypical suit that the California legislature intended to short-circuit by enacting AB 933. Granting Miss Lively's motion to dismiss based on AB 933 would allow the law to work as intended by providing early protection and relief for survivors who speak out about sexual harassment. Denying Miss Lively's motion to dismiss, on the other hand, will encourage abusers to use defamation suits to silence victims and will chill victims' willingness to report sexual assault and harassment in the future. The exact opposite of the intent of AB 933. For the reasons set forth, we urge the court to grant Miss Lively's motion to dismiss. No, I say. No. Sorry, babes, but no. What do you think? Do they make any compelling points? Let's discuss it all in the comments section.